Hey guys, Ghibli here. So I just recently started playing this new game called Loadout. It's a really fun third-person shooter, incredibly gory. So you do a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and you can run around as eyeballs in a brain from getting your face exploded off. Your leg gets blown off. You can punch holes into people. You can be burnt to a crisp. So I wanted to do a video about it because it's been really entertaining me lately. So I'm going to talk about just a small part of the game really quickly, which is what I think the huge attractiveness of this game lies in, and that's the weapon crafting ability. You can customize almost anything you want in this game. Obviously there's certain limitations, but it's really astonishing. You can do whatever you want. So let's show you what I mean. So let's make a new gun here. So we'll call it Ghibli's Test Gun. And that'll work. So, for example, here they'll give you can randomize it. So, we can randomize it to whatever we want. So here it is, a standard rifle. So let's go into what makes a gun a gun. So you start off with the chassis. So you have rifle, launcher, pulse, beam. So rifle's just like an all-around, moderately good gun. It does what it is. It's a rifle. Decent range, decent accuracy, decent damage, decent rate of fire, stuff like that. Decent reload time. Everything's on average. Launcher is, a rocket launcher. Lots of damage, a little bit lower accuracy, slow rate of fire, slow reload time, and a smaller range. So, it can explode. And once again, if you don't like certain aspects of the gun, like say you want to have a rocket launcher with really good range, you can do that with other parts, and we'll get into that just a little bit later. Pulse gun is basically, it shoots us these little cannonballs. Really good for close range fights. It really lacks in long range. So everyone's going to have their pros and cons. You just have to pick and choose what fits your playstyle. Then you have beam, which is literally what it is. It's like a laser beam. It's got really good range, really good accuracy, but it lacks on the damage, and I think also on the reload time. It can be a little slow. So let's stick with beam for the moment, because beam has a good all-around stuff. Every type of weapon kind of has a different style to it. So let's start with the different options. So you have 6 options here. Some have more, some have less. So you have the stock, which is the back of the gun, and it goes anywhere from the standard to aluminum, whatever you need to. Now you can get these parts through playing the game and getting random drops from the wheel of death that you get after every game, or you can buy them with the in-game currency, which is this right here. So that you can get through the game by playing it, or you can buy it with real money. So I bought some. It's not very expensive, but I just wanted to test the game out, see what I could do, what crazy inventions I could make. It adds a nice feature to the game. You can also upgrade each individual thing. So you upgrade them with what they call upgrade points, which are technically achievement points. You do a little mission that they give you, and you get an upgrade point. So pretty simple, basically. Scopes have everything from iron to long-range sniper rifles. Whatever you need. The assault barrel right here, or just barrel, and you can have anything from a Gatling gun to a sniper to whatever you need it to be. The rifle has a scatter, so shotgun method, and the rocket launcher has how many different types of rockets. The trigger, everything from semi-auto, spooling, to 2-round burst fully auto, whatever you need it to be. Once again, it's all customizable. You can upgrade everything. It's really incredible. You can make just whatever you need to be effective. Whatever's your playstyle, you can do it with this game, practically. Now they have this thing that's called cooling for the beam. Usually it's also clip size, basically. So, because as laser beam, it overheats and you got to, cool it down. So this is the way of doing it. Some are faster, but you lose damage. Some, you lose damage, but you recharge faster. You got to pick and choose. Once again, it's your playstyle. So, and here's a really important part of it. It's called the payload. This is literally what your ammunition does. You have slug rounds, which is literally a plain old bullet. For the beam, it's a standard laser beam that does damage, and it'll do the most direct damage. like it'll pack the most punch at the first hit. Tesla does a little less damage at the start. All of them do a little bit less damage at the start after Slug, but they have additional effects. Tesla will basically put the person, electrocute the person, and it could spark arcs of chain lightning. So if they're all clustered up, it's going to spark all between them and keep going until it's out of range. So it's going to do a lot of damage to their entire team. You have Pyro, which is literally just fire. Everyone loves the fire. You know, you can burn somebody alive, and, you know, once again, your damage is reduced on the actual, you know, on-hit damage, but increased over time because, you know, they burn, basically. And if they touch anything for a prolonged amount of time, it sets that thing on fire. So you can set multiple people on fire, which, well, that's always fun, you know, setting people on fire. Yay. Now, the next two are where the game starts to become a little bit more alive and more dynamic. It's basically support. So you have health, which is literally what it does. You heal people. You shoot at your teammates instead of the enemy, and you heal them. You can even overheal them. And whilst healing them, you heal yourself a percentage. So it works out really well. It's a given, you know, you give and get some back. Now, the last one's juice, are also probably basically drugs. This is the best thing to describe them. It's drugs. It's steroids. We're going to be honest here. You shoot syringes at people, and it gives them like a speed boost, a damage boost. They jump a little bit higher. It's a buff. You know, give them some steroids, let them have some fun with it. So, and you could do this with any type of gun. If you want, you know, a rocket launcher, let's go into that right now. If you want a rocket launcher that buffs people, you can do that. Here's one right now. So let's look at the pulse and the rifle. So they have the same type of loadout stuff, and the only difference from the beam is the magazine type thing. It's no longer a cooling system, you know, it's a magazine. You can everything from bolt action to high capacity standard, or even a shell loading for your shotgun users. I use the shell loading a lot because it's a lot of damage. Some people use bolt action because it really does a lot of damage, but the reload time is not as, or the rate of fire, I should say, isn't as strong. Now let's get into the rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is probably the most intricate. Now it doesn't have, you know, like a reloading mechanism. It doesn't have a magazine because it's literally just a rocket. But everything else is somewhat the same. The scope's the same, the stock's the same, the trigger's the same. The only thing that's different is the barrel. Now, instead of having, you know, oh, I wanted to do scatter shot, I wanted to be a sniper rifle. No. It's how many rockets you want in your gun. I'm not even joking. You have cage, which is 1. You can have 3. You can have 4, 5. Hell, you can even have freaking 6 rockets firing at somebody all at once with a full auto burst. It's ridiculous. You can do whatever you want. This is what I'm talking about. You want 6 rockets flying at your allies and heal them? You know, you can do that. There you go. Make them healing. You want 6 rockets flying at people and burning people, or, you know, electrocuting them? You can do that. Now this is where the launcher, I should say, becomes a little bit different. You have more options down here from the standard payload. You also have propulsion, which I think is also in the pulse guns. So the propulsion is how basically your projectile is going to fly through the air. Now the more wonky it is and the more difficult it is to get to your target and land, the more damage it's going to be. Like corkscrew is going to be twizzling all around the air. It's going to be more difficult to hit. Mortar is going to, you know, it's going to lob over. It has high wind resistance, stuff like that. It's all give and take. You know, it's going to be harder to hit, but when you hit it, it's going to do more damage. And usually the harder it hits, the longer like the burn duration is on it if you're using pyro. So we'll just take a standard rocket. We'll take that. Then you have the shell. So if you want it to just explode impact, you want it to bounce, you can have freaking rockets bouncing all over the place with 6 rockets. It's freaking awesome. You can have them stick to people. So you can make like landmines or just basically a sticky grenade. Because, you know, we're going to do impact for a moment. But you can see it even goes even further. You can have them rebound, you know, anything. And it gets even further into depth when you take on the detonator. You could do just explodes on contact. Manual, this is where your sticky bomb can come in handy. You stick a rock on somebody and you just toy with them. Oh yeah, you're running away? Click, boom. You can do whatever you want. Time it. You know, this one I haven't experimented too much. From what I heard, it's pretty bad. So what I see a lot of people doing is proximity, which is right here, which basically as soon as they come in range, it explodes, which is really good when you put the rockets on the floor and make mines. So what it's allowing you to do is, you know, set up a perimeter, and a lot of people do that in their capture the flag mode, which is called hammer time. So we'll just do contact. And then you have the dispersal, so you just, an explosion does the most amount of damage, it explodes, plain and simple. Cluster basically shoots out little 6 cluster bombs of more, you know, more shells and more bombs after it hits. So you can have 6 times 6, it's 36 little bombs going off in one area. It's pretty funny to see, but it lowers the damage. And then you have Flak, which just basically sprays small explosives all around the area, causing damage over time. Now, that's mainly good when you want to, like, avoid getting launcher damage, because if you explode their rockets that are coming at you, like, you can do that. If the rocket's flying at you, you can shoot it and get it out of the sky. And this is really good because it shoots like shrapnel, basically, into the air, and you can stop it from hitting you. So it's really effective in that way. So say once you've made your perfect gun, you know, everything you want in it, you want to go, but you're not sure how it's going to work. They have a test feature, so you can go ahead and test, and it's going to take you into this little testing area. You can literally just test it, you know. Throw your gun, kill as many people as you want. You know, be as gruesome as you want. Beat the guy running to death, shoot him to death, whatever you want. So different styles. So this allows you to test out your gun, test out how you want to do it, and then if you're still not pleased with it, you hit escape, and you can edit it. And then once you're finally 100% positive you like this gun, you can build it. So that's basically the weapon crafting. It's a lot of fun, guys. I highly recommend this game. You know, it allows for a lot of creative, really dynamic gameplay, especially when you get into whole, like, you know, healing and buffing people. You can really assign some really cool roles. So I recommend going ahead and maybe trying out this game if this is your style. It's like $10 on Steam, I think, and it's still in beta, so you'll get access to beta and the game when it comes out. So, you know, personally, I love it. It's a really fun game. Will it be like the next huge game? Probably not, but it's a really fun game to play with your friends, and it allows for a lot of dynamic gameplay and creativity. So go ahead, go buy it if you want it, experiment with it, and have a lot of fun blowing some people's faces off. Thanks for listening. Bye.